of Podcast with Sheila, the podcast that is spreading positivity around the world by sharing inspiring life experiences. With me today is Ashunta Sheriff, a trailblazer in the makeup industry with over 2 decades of experience to share with us. If you're looking for some inspiration in your life this year, this is the right place to be. So grab your warm drinks and let's kick the ball rolling. Hello, Ashunta, and welcome to Podcast with Sheila.
Hi, Sheila. Nice to meet you, and thank you for having me.
It's an honor, really. Can you share with us how your journey in the beauty industry began and what inspired you to pursue this path?
It's not a simple question. My journey in beauty, in terms of where it started from, is childhood. I was a really creative kid. I was always drawing and dancing and making up music and stories, and my mom had me in a lot of creative arts programs. And so that's where like the real birth of my artistic side, my creative side happened. When I went to high school, I majored in theater arts. And so being a theater major, we had to do every aspect of backstage. So you had to build sets, you had to do costuming, makeup, hair, and we would have Broadway directors actually come once a year and direct our annual musical because we were a really well-known boarding preparatory school. So we always had like this amazing mentorship with real professionals. So I always had like an eyeball into this space. I became really serious about it when I left college. I went to Howard University, and when I returned home, I dropped out of school my junior year due to a traumatic incident that happened in my life, and I went home to kind of regroup and restart. And that's where I really started to see that I wanted to do makeup as a career. And then I got a job at MAC, and the rest is history.
Great. So transitioning from male grooming for icons like Jay-Z to working with celebrities like Zendaya and Rihanna is quite a leap. How did these opportunities shape your career?
The opportunities that happen to afford me to work with people like Zendaya or Alicia Keys or a Rihanna or a Jay-Z, was basically my connection with people. I'm a people person. I'm an introvert extrovert. That's more of a perfect description of me. So I know how to turn my light switch on and connect with people. I genuinely like people. I also genuinely believe the best in people. That helps me to make really organic connections that have been lasting. And those connections are me meeting interns at record labels and being kind to them. And when no one else would be kind to them, them remembering that and going, hey, let me think of a shooter now that I'm an executive. And so literally I've been with some people from the journey of being an intern or being a junior A&R to being the CEO of a company 10 years later. And they've allowed me opportunity because I was always kind to them. So kindness will take you far in this world. It really, really will. Even though people think it doesn't. Um, it's also talent. I had talent. I had sheer natural born talent. I'm a very creative person. But am I the most talented makeup artist? No, there are people who are even more talented. So I'm going to definitely say you need to have talent. However, you need to build strong relationships with people and always build organic relationships. That's going to help grow your career. That's going to basically create new opportunities for you that may not have been there before. So me being kind has really opened up a lot of doors for me.
Great. I totally agree with you at the point where you have to build relationships with people and specifically with the right people out here. And I know you totally agree that it has to be with those right people. But what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in the early stages of your career and how did you overcome them?
Some of the larger obstacles, I would say, or challenges that I faced early on in my career were, just being a mom. I was a young single mom at the time, and so that was really difficult, to navigate a very busy, in-demand career that was growing, and then, having to deal with being a single mom too. So it was a really, really difficult situation. For me, I had the support system of my mother, thank God. My mom would help me watch my daughter at the time. I only had one daughter at the time. Now I have a total of 8 kids altogether, so it's a whole big family now. And we have 4 teenagers here at the house right now who are all home from school because it's a cold winter warning here because it's like negative
Mm.
10 degrees in Chicago.
Oh,
But It's super, super cold. But those challenges, being a single parent, it didn't stop me from pursuing opportunity. My mom, I will honestly say, if she did not support me, a lot of opportunities I wouldn't have been able to do them. If she didn't say, hey, drop Nami with me and go do that world tour with Alicia Keys, I wouldn't have had a career. But she believed in me and she wanted to support me the best she could. And my mom had also just retired early. So I was also in luck, because she had more time on her hands. And she was able to, watch her grandchild and help grow my career at the same time. So those challenges, I know people, especially single parents, they always face those types of challenges on how to navigate your business. And I know not everybody is blessed to have a mother, or family even to watch their kids. And sometimes that's not even safe too, right? Sometimes family isn't even safe for watching our kids. But don't give up just because if you're a young parent or single parent and you don't have a support system. Maybe the career challenge for you is it may take you a little bit longer. I do believe that everything is in God's timing. So that was just the right timing for me, and the other challenges I faced were financial chips, challenges. I think every young artist coming into the industry faces financial challenge. And for me, what that looked like, my very first client was P. Diddy. And when they called me to work with him, they expected me to have a kit that reflected the money or budget to be able to afford Creed fragrances or Nickel skincare cream or this brand or that brand or Joe Malone candles or Diptyque candles. All these things were in his rider of what he wanted from his makeup artist or groomer to have. Days, and this was rainy day to her. The rainy day was my daughter has a career that's starting, and I'll dip into what I've saved to help her get it going. And she did that. Um, and that was it. All of those things were the stairs that would build the staircase of my career. And the other challenges I faced, are being a single parent, not so much about watching your kids, but more so about being away from your kids. There's a lot of challenge in that, having to travel all the time, be all around the world. That sounds like fun, but a lot of the days on tour early on for me, everyone on tour will tell you the mothers who were on the road, there were a few of us who were one was a background vocalist for Alicia and another one was a dancer. And it was like only three of us because mostly everyone was in their 20s and single and ready to mingle. And
Yeah.
here we are. There was a couple of us who were like late 20s, early 30s, and parents. And so we're on this road, and it's, rock star lifestyle. Everybody's up all night, clubs and stuff. And I'd be crying. I would have days where I would be crying. Now, I went out too with my friends, don't get it wrong. I experienced the world and saw things. And a lot of times it was out of default because I just didn't want to be in my hotel room crying all the time. And so my peers who worked with me would be like, when are you going to be in Berlin ever again? When are you ever going to be in Singapore ever again? When are you ever going to be in Hong Kong ever again? When are you ever going to be wherever ever again? And take this opportunity to take the experience in and share this with your family when you go back home. And that's what I did. I would come home and tell my daughter stories and show pictures. And then this became a seed that planted for her to inspire her to travel. She's going to be 26 years old and she's traveled many places now. So our experiences as parents set up our children, for greatest success. And so sometimes taking those really hard risks, and I see immigrant women doing it all the time. And that's actually what helped me. I'm not an immigrant. I'm a born and raised American. My family's from Mississippi. Of course, we know my roots are in Africa. All Black people Kenyan, all kind of friends. All of them have told me similar stories about their parents having to leave them with grandparents when they were younger so that they could come to this country and have get an education. Their parents could get an education, get a career, get a job, and then send for them. And do you know how many people told me this was their origin story? That by age 7 is finally when I saw my mom again, or age 9, or even age 10, or even age 14, where my mom had to come back and forth to Nigeria and send money and take care of us. This is what women have had to do. It's
Yeah.
nothing new. So I think that, this whole, oh my God, I'm leaving my kids, that is a concept that is not in alignment with women of color. Women of color, and I'm talking about from the diaspora, as well as women who are our sistren, who are brown women, like Indian and Latina, have all had to leave homes to take care of children and create new opportunities. So I say those challenges are just the challenges of life, not necessarily my personal challenge. And I say people hit it head on and take those risks, especially if you see your career growing. If everything is lining up for you to make moves, make the move.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think we had audience as you were speaking, and somebody had wanted to ask a question, but probably waited for too long and is left now.
Oh,
But please, yeah, um, if you leave your questions in the at the bottom, I'll be able to read it out when I get the chance to do that because I'm not moderating. I don't have anybody who's moderating for me. I'm doing everything
okay.
here
Oh,
alone.
you do it all. You're a one woman show. I
Yeah,
understand that.
yeah. So be patient with us. We are not ignoring you. Definitely not ignoring you. We've seen all the love hearts and all the kind words. We appreciate it very much. Leave all your messages below if you can, and then we will definitely read it out when the opportunity comes. But I was very interested at the bit where you were talking about you being a single mom and still pushing. And I see that kind of story a number of times. Like it's a very common trend now. And there's this series I've started about marriage, and there's another side to the podcast where I do cooking and podcasting and sharing real life experiences. And some of the stories I hear because I meet a lot of women every day. I hear some of
Mhm.
these stories and I turn them into, I'm not telling them, it's actually a real story I'm telling over cooking. And I've started a few stories recently, and that particular one, Married but Single, is one story that seemed to be doing very well on YouTube. And because it's a common trend now, most women have become single moms not by their own decision. It's
Yeah.
just because they found themselves there. And so many reasons could put you in that status. Either you've lost your husband or the husband is not sitting up or something else, and
Yeah.
women are beginning to struggle. So when I see a woman who is really pushing it and not allowing that, quote and unquote, to keep them on their bottom, like keep them seated at one place and sulking and thinking, can I do it, can I not do it? At least women like you, like myself, people see us and they get inspired and say, you're doing it, I can do it. Well, I'm not a single mom, but I look more like one because my husband travels, he works away, and I'm mostly on my own. So I
Hmm.
know that kind of struggle and how it feels, and sometimes the pressure and the strain, having to shoulder a number of things is where most of us or a lot of women find themselves this day. When you talk to 3 women, you find out that 2 of them are in that category,
Yeah.
and
It's a
it's a
lot of
very
women in that space.
yeah, yeah, it's a very difficult place to be. So people like you inspire, I believe, inspire a lot of us, and I'm happy you shared your story this way. So as we carry on, what inspired you to create your brand, your beauty brand, and how does your brand stand out in the beauty industry?
Well, first, I want to say hi to one of your guests. Hello from Russia. Hi, how are you? Dos peran. I didn't say it right. Dos peranyo. I think that's how you say it. She'll probably correct me. My mom sang classical music, and she always sang in Russian and learned little things. But I'm sure I said it completely wrong. But definitely love that I have someone here from Russia. Um, in terms of uh, just staying motivated, I think too. People have to understand that you can plan everything out perfectly, but it's never going to go perfect.
Yeah.
And when I became an entrepreneur, it was really by default. It was because, I was working a lot. I was working on the show Empire. I was doing Taraji P. Henson, who played Cookie. I had gotten 2 Emmy nominations for the work there. And so just really thriving in the industry. Everything is on the up and up. I was starting to get offers to be a department head for major TV and film shows. And then the pandemic hit. And when the pandemic hit, makeup artists and hairstylists who work in the union, thank God we get union benefits. So I was able to pull from my benefit package and help take care of myself and my family. I'm married now. My husband also, is an actor, and he was able to pull from things and help us get through. But we didn't know the pandemic was going to go so long. Everyone was thinking, oh, 6 months, we're going to be back to normal. And it was almost 3 years, till normalcy really, really return. And are we really normal now? I don't know. Like I think
Mhm.
we have a new normal that is post-pandemic in our culture, in society, in government, everything. Everything has completely changed. And so I saw that change happening. And I said, you know what? I don't know. I don't really trust the industry that I work in to provide for me. And so I need to provide for myself. I couldn't look to my clients to take care of me because your clients are not there. They don't salary you. Sometimes you may have a client who says, hey, I'm going to retain you. And that's a blessing. That's a blessing when that happens. But that's very few and far between. So without having a retainer, without having a salary, you really don't have anything because when production is out, you don't have a paycheck. We're not on some kind of salary. We're paid hourly as a makeup artist for our time worked. So when a production is not happening, there is no funds, there's no money. And so really big shout out to the entire, film and television industry of hair and makeup and stylists and nail artists and creatives and background people and everybody, crew member. From me personally, I'm a local IATSE member. I know everyone's hurting, and they have been hurting. So at that time, I came to my husband and I said, listen, I have an idea to start a lash company because I had suffered from traction alopecia. Basically, I had alopecia in the lashes from wearing lash extensions because everybody loves lash extensions, the long term lash extensions that people put on. And because I had a allergic reaction to the type of glue they use without really understanding and knowing. It caused me to have bald spots within my lash line. And so I couldn't really put on mascara because I would have like five lashes here, then nothing, and then two over here, and it's terrible. And like, come on, I'm a makeup artist. Like, what makeup artist can't at least wear mascara? Like,
Yeah.
we are walking billboards a lot of times for our own craft. So if I don't have mascara on, like, come on, like, this doesn't make sense. So I went to wearing lashes all the time, and the lashes changed my life. There was no irritation. I wasn't itchy. I was able to continue like doing lash treatment and see my lashes, real lashes start to grow back. Now I have all my lashes back, not as full, but they're back. But this saved my physical image life. It's like being going having no hairlines for people, not having a lash is the same thing, or no eyebrows. It could be a lot for you. um, and I know it sounds vain, but for me, it's a big part of my career. So I launched magnetized luxury lashes, which is magnetic lashes, and I just made them better than the ones that I had been trying because the ones I had tried were great, but they kept falling off. And I said, to my husband, I said, this would be really great if the adhesive that they used was stronger, like glue, but not toxic. And that's what we created. We created this. Where is it at? Right here. I just put it on today while I was doing my makeup. And of course, now I can't. Oh, it's right here. So this is our lash adhesive. And so this works for magnetic lashes, but it also works for regular eyelashes. And you just make a line, you let it dry, and you apply. And literally the lash just like stays in place and locked. I'll actually do a little test. I'll just do a little line because I was doing my makeup right here before we got on camera. And then I can show you. So it's like literally, one, two, three, boom. Super, super easy. So I'm just gonna take a little
Yeah.
lash, and these are magnetic, and I'm going to place it right on the band that I drew,
Okay.
right on top, and just give it a little
Oh,
rub down. And you can see it's on. See the
yeah.
lash? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to pull it. I'm going to pull it also.
Mm. Wow.
So I made it a stronger adhesive that's vegan, paraben free, cruelty free. can work on any lashes or magnetic lashes. We also sell magnetic lash sets, which are called magnetized. And so that was the birth of the Ashunta Sheriff Beauty line, and that came in 20, like the top of 2022, around this time. It was like January 24th, 25th, when we went viral. And I actually had my former client Taraji P Henson. I sent her several boxes. She kept seeing me putting them on in videos on social media, and she said, "Girl, send me some of those boxes." And so I sent her a few. And one day I'm walking my dog, and my phone, I had just got up, like it was like 8:30 in the morning. So why would my phone be dead, you know? And my phone just dies. And when I get back home and plugged it up, I had over $50,000 in orders. So that was the beginning. Yeah,
Yeah.
that it went viral. And from magnetic lashes, from our magnetized luxury lashes, we will have been able to grow, and we now have 74 products.
Wow, that is very, very impressive. So we are on YouTube, and you can actually see her face on YouTube. If you'd like to do that, then jump onto our YouTube channel now, and you can see her face. We are also on Instagram, but on Instagram, you can only see me, and on TikTok, you can only see me. So I think that the best thing you can do now, if you want to be able to send your messages in, and then I would have her answer them for you, is to jump onto YouTube now, and then you'll be able to send in your messages as well as see us. I believe that before she finally signs off, she's going to show you where you can get your lash. I've never tried lash before because I have very, very sensitive eyes. I put on glasses today. I've decided to just go do the interview without my glasses. I've been wearing them the whole day. I feel tired. So I've
Yeah,
taken them off, and it looks like I'm doing good, but I've never tried lashes on. I don't think I'll ever be able to try, but what you have demonstrated looks really, really good, because sometimes I see people wear lash and it's like it's coming off from the corner here, it's beginning to
yeah,
peel off
yeah.
and all.
Yeah,
But your
beginning to peel
demonstration,
off. Yeah, this
yeah.
this really holds it in place, you know, and really, and actually it's made for sensitive eyes. I have extremely sensitive eyes. I wear glasses as well. And most of my clients are what I call ageless beauties. They're women who are 50 and up. A lot of my clients, because I'm also 50 as well. And so people really, you know, don't really, they think, oh, I can't put these lashes. You can. All you have to do is do the line. It's super great for sensitive eyes. That's what this adhesive is made for. It's made for people like me because remember, I had the allergies. I was breaking out. My and a lot of times women don't even realize that is happening. They just keep wearing the lash,
Mm,
but they're itching, you know, or they're irritated, or their eyes are red, or there's some type of irritant happening. And our lash adhesive is amazing. It's paraben free. It's also formaldehyde free. That's one of the main ingredients that a lot of times bothers people's eyes is formaldehyde, and a lot of lash glue and lash adhesive has formaldehyde in it. The same thing they use for dead bodies.
yeah.
So, you know, it's a lot of chemicals that we use. I just found out glitter is used in nuclear weapons, you know, like real glitter, like the same glitter we use in makeup. That same glitter is used to paint cars, it's used to paint houses, paint uh, equipment. I mean, like anytime you see anything with glitter in it, glitter is it's the same typical formulation, and literally I found out it makes mass weapons of destruction. And I love glitter because we have a lot of glitter in our collection. But yeah, the glitter manufacturers, they don't just sell to makeup, they sell to the government as well. And I just found this out yesterday, so I was a little sad about that because I always say glitter makes the world a better place, and now I'm like, glitter is blowing up places. You know, so you never know and I say all that to say to the audience is we never know what ingredient is being used in cosmetic products. And that's really why you want to make sure you're looking at ingredients, you're making sure you're, you know, buying into brands that are vegan, cruelty free, paraben free, leaping bunny ear certified, clean certified, EWG certified. All of those things really matter because what we put in our skin is important because our skin is our largest organ on our body and very, very important to our day-to-day life. So I just want to say that to everybody. And everybody who's looking for our brand, I heard you say how to find us. You can find Ashunta Sheriff Beauty at ashuntabeauty.com. And you can go right to our website and shop us, or you can even shop us on walmart.com. We're also there if you just go into search and type Ashunta Sheriff Beauty, and Walmart ships all over the world.
Great, great. Can you tell us more about how inclusivity and diversity are woven into the philosophy of your brand?
Well, inclusivity and diversity and innovation are like our three mantras. And the reason why is because me being a woman of color, I'm a Black woman, and coming up in this industry, there was a lot of challenges, a lot, that people have no idea the day-to-day challenges that we face as makeup artists. People think just because you work with celebrities, you've got it made, and that's not how it works. There have been times where I have seen for fact and heard, been on the same press campaign with a group of people, and let's just say it's six actors in this project, and some of these actors are white. And when we're talking with some of their glam, so to speak, hair and makeup people that we're cool with, and they go, "Oh yeah, I'm getting really paid great for this press gig. They're giving me such and such amount of money." And through these conversations that glam members have with each other, meaning hair and makeup people and even stylists, that's how some of the Black kids have found out, the Black glam people have found out we're not being paid the same amount of money. Literally. I remember being on a press junket, and finding out that a peer was making twice as much as me. I also remember doing the Oscars, and a peer was doing hair for a really famous celebrity that I was doing makeup for. She made almost literally, I'm not joking, 10 times more than me, white hairstylist. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. It's the system's fault.
Yeah.
Because the white hairstylist or the white makeup artist or the white stylist or nail artist that works in this industry comes into a system that's already created for them, right? So when we came in as Black and brown kids into the space, a lot of times we were delegated to doing Black things. But as Black stars grew to be world global phenomenons, Will Smith, Denzel Washington, Angela Bassett, we could
Mm.
keep going, Lupita Nyong'o, so many Black actors, Chadwick Boseman, they are global sensations. People go to see these movies that these Black actors are starring in. That caused for more Black glam to be needed because more Black and brown people needed people that knew how to deal with their hair texture, hair type, but also how to deal with their complexion and skin issues that Black people are dealing with or brown people are dealing with. So that opened the floodgates for us to move into Hollywood, really. And when we came in, we weren't welcome with the same amounts for rates. So, for example, someone doing the Oscars, hairstylist white, they have the opportunity, to say, hey, my rate is, this was true, $3,800. Plus, they got paid from various brand sponsors and what have you. And even down to sponsor dollars, sponsors we've even seen pay Black and brown people who promote their brands less than they pay white people who promote their brands. So when you work as a like we've heard this with Jackie Aina. I apologize. She has a new last name, but she's a huge celebrity influencer, and apologize, Jackie, if I didn't say your name correctly, if you ever see this podcast. But she championed as a Black influencer, really to be like at the top of the league of Black female influencers by speaking about these issues. There would be times when she started her YouTube platform, in the, let's say in 2015, when I was watching her videos, and she was begging for people to send her product. Mind you, she was watching her white counterparts who would be getting less views than her videos, and they're getting the brand new, newest sensation and boxings and unboxings and openings, and she complained about it. There were other Black influencers who, okay, started to get pulled into the influencer space and get special treatment, right? And they started getting the great trips, and going on these big brand, fancy schmancy things on the private jet. But when they would get to the hotels, some of the Black and brown girls would discover, if there was a group of women, that their rooms were smaller, that they didn't have the suites, that they didn't have sometimes the carte blanche, room service to whatever, charge what you want, open tab, so to speak. So these real systematic issues, even though people, say DEI, take it down, and the Trumpers don't think it's necessary, it is very necessary because without it, people will be, they'll be more inclined to do what they've always done, which is the systematic oppression financially of Black and brown people. It happens. It's very real. So if I am doing the same job, I have the same qualifications as a Black makeup artist, why shouldn't I be paid the same rate?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
So this is a real challenge in our industry, and we are fighting day by day as Black and Brown creatives, especially someone like me. I'm speaking about it. There are a lot of people who don't want to rock the boat. I talked about it when I had agents. When I had big agencies, I would be like, why do white makeup artists make twice as much as me, but I'm doing this twice as long as them? And my literal client list, they've got two huge clients. I'm talking about Rihanna, Alicia Keys, Taraji P. Henson, Jay-Z, Sanaa Lathan, this one. I mean, the list goes on. I could keep going on. And the thing is a client is someone I've touched, that
Yeah.
I've done their makeup on, and
Mhm.
they've hired me. And these people have hired me. Whether they continue to hire me in perpetuity is not the point. A client is a client. But you have the right to say, oh, so and so was my client. They may not be your client anymore, but they were your client. So this person, I'm using this real life example, had three clients, two who was not her current client, one who was. Meanwhile, me, I had five A-list who were my current clients and several who weren't. And I was not making the same rate as her. So this is a real problem in our industry. Um, and I pray that, that changes. I believe that TikTok honestly really rocked the boat because it didn't really care about your color. It really
Yeah.
didn't. It cared about performance, and it cared about community, and it cared about how well does this person engage with their audience. Are you creating engaging material that's really interesting and fun? And they didn't really care what color the person was. And you see all the brand collaborations happening with all these different affiliates and influencers from all walks of life. And the rate is set through the TikTok back office. So they can't go, oh, because you're brown and black. It's a standard rate. Because I sell on TikTok. I can't go down the list and go, oh, Sheila's black, so I'm only going to give her 3%. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
TikTok really made an open, fair playing field for creatives and businesses and founders like me to really get on there and really cash in and make money and find your audience. And we see that. We see brands doing $50 million, $1 million a day TikTok sales, all that stuff. I didn't get to benefit from the TikTok, heyday, so to speak, because we joined late.
Late.
But we hope that in our now that we're on TikTok and now that we have a TikTok shop, that we can find our tribe, find our audience that supports us, because it's amazing to be able to have that type of real ethereal, yeah, ethereal, um, I'm trying to, not ethereal, it's not the right word, I'm sorry, but just like this really great, it's a word that I want to use and it escaped me because I have ADD, guys. I'm sorry. But I literally have ADD. Like I've been diagnosed as a child. So sometimes if my thought takes too long, that's why. But literally it's just these opportunities that we'll have a chance to build a really strong brand through the TikTok audience, because it seems to give people, humans, a fair chance regardless of what skin tone they are. And I really like that about TikTok.
Great. You've mentioned you mentored new talents in the industry. Why is mentorship important to you, and how do you hope to impact the next generation of makeup artists?
Mentorship is super important to me. I've mentored countless makeup artists in my career, countless. And I love mentoring. I mean, there are some people who literally make a guideline. You can't talk to them unless you pay them. It's a consulting fee. I've not
Mm.
operated in that way. I haven't. A lot of makeup artists have I've had an open door policy. They can literally email me, they've texted me, they've DM'd me and asked me questions. Whether it's been, hey, Ashunta, it's a world tour with such and such artists. What's a good rate? They told me this is the rate. Tell me, do you think I should take this job? How can I improve my rate? And I sit there and I literally work out a budget, how they should, well, you should get this. This is what you should ask for. This is the how many days are you going for? What cities are you going to? Okay, this is your per diem. Are they giving you this per diem? We'll ask for $10 more. I sit there and do this one-on-one with people, and all of you guys know who you are, And so I have no problem and never have. I've taken time away from selling when, like, my husband's like, we're at the makeup show. Stop talking to everybody, because I take so much time to talk to people.
Yeah.
because it is so important. Why? Because I didn't always have that level of mentorship. I had people who definitely popped out and helped me on the journey without a doubt, but to give me like the level of information that I sometimes share with people, not always. Not always. I didn't get everyone to say this is a good rate. This is how you do billing. This is how you do this. I can count on one hand people who really poured into me in that way early in my career, who really, really helped me. Um, and it may not have just been just, logistical information that you need to function as a working makeup artist, but also creative inspiration, marketing strategy, you know, how to set myself apart from other creatives. Just inspiration. Sometimes I'm just inspiring them. I remember during the pandemic having countless conversations with Black and Brown creatives specifically, who are my peers, who are having a hard time not working. And we were just catching up. And sometimes those catch ups turned into tears and prayers, for the light at the end of the tunnel of what felt like a very dark time, because when you take people out of what they love, makeup and hair is not just a job. We actually love what we do. We love it and we're passionate about it. And I remember Andre Leon Talley, God rest his soul, telling me backstage at a fashion show for Fashion Week in Paris in 2001. He told me in an elevator for a Christian Dior show specifically. I was working with Pat McGrath's team. It was my first European show. And I was in the elevator. He said he knew me because my mom is the receptionist at a church in Harlem called Abyssinian Baptist Church. And he's a member. So he knew me through the church. And so when he saw me, he said, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm working with Pat." He said, "Oh my gosh, excellent. That is amazing." He said, "Now I want to tell you. This is a priceless experience you're having, young lady. You're here in Paris." And he looked around because you got to think I was in my early 20s. He said, "You're here in Paris. You're a Black woman. You're backstage at Christian Dior show." He's like, "It's a big deal." He said, "I want you to remember this feeling that when you love what you do and you're passionate about it, you would do it for free."
Yeah.
He said, "I'm not saying that you don't have a worth or value. I'm not saying you don't deserve to be paid." He said, "That's not the same. What I'm saying is that the passion that is in you burns so deeply that you must do it." And all of us know what that feeling is. I'm sure you creating this podcast, it was burning for you. And you said, "You know what? I'm going to do it." You probably started with no lighting, with no microphone, and you just did it. And so that's the level of passion. We just do it. We may not have everything lined up. Everything may not be perfect. It's not going to be all cute and boxed up and packaged like we see these people do so much on social media. Why? Because it's passion behind it. It's not just a box marketing tool. It's actually driven and funded from real human passion and real human desire. And
Yeah.
so that passion has, really catapulted my career for almost 30 years. That I've been able to travel the world. I've been able to take care of my family. I've been able to purchase this home that I live in. I've been able to purchase two cars. I've been able to live, quote unquote, a great life, and even with obstacles that we face right now, whether it's the politics we're dealing with, with White House, we'll just put it like that, or where we stand in America, and particularly like with our mindset and what's really happening here, and with diversity going under, all of these things are give room and give give a pathway for us to lend into being depressed and saying, "I'm going to give up on my dreams. Maybe I shouldn't pursue this because
Mm.
it's a take. I need to stay with this job longer because pursuing my dreams is going to potentially really hurt me or my family." I always say you don't have to quit that job to start your dream. You don't. I started my dream while working, at another job. And that's really what I think that a lot of people think. We see these movies where people just go in and go, "Ah, I quit, and throw the thing at the boss and walk out." That's a movie. It's not reality. And that doesn't always happen. We wish it does. You may have to work a small retail job. You may have to hustle and Uber drive. You may have to pick up some culinary arts if you're a really good chef and do some lunch plates,
Yeah.
and pick up the pieces where you can financially as you are pursuing your dream. But the thing is don't stop pursuing it, because the moment you stop, is the moment you start to die inside. And that's what I know to be true. Purpose is something that God from above, the most highest power on the planet is God, the biggest energy of love we can ever imagine. God places this in you from inception before you come here. I believe our divine purpose is always placed in us. And sometimes we don't find it immediately.
Yeah.
Sometimes people go through their entire life and don't tap into it and never find it. And that may be their life journey. That could be it. However, if you have found it and you've tapped into it, don't give up on it. Just day by day, commit a little bit of time to your passion and to your dream and watch it unfold to be where it's taking over your real life, your real career that you had, your real job, and now the dream takes over. And that's what's happened for me. I went from being a working makeup artist working every day. And I went down kicking and screaming. So I'm telling your audience true experience. I was someone who made six figures, worked with A-list, traveled the world, had luxury experiences, was highly sought after, to nothing, to nobody looking for me for work because work is very hard. And that kind of immediate 360 can be damaging to a person if I did not keep at the same time building my brand.
Mhm.
So while I was still working in Hollywood and in TV and film, we'll say 2022, I'm still doing it while doing this brand. Then all of a sudden, what happened in 2024? A strike happened. A strike happened. So 2022, 2020 end of 2022 is the quote unquote tail end of the pandemic. Cut to 12 months later, Hollywood has a Hollywood strike that lasts 11 months. There's no work for anyone. So if I didn't, put those coins in the jar of Ashunta Sharif Beauty, and just put a little bit into your own self, into your jar, and then you'll watch it grow. And now I do it full time, not because I wanted to. I had no choice because the industry was pushing me this way. But it all happened in divine timing because I can afford to do that now. I can afford to do it. It's still hard, it's still challenges, but I make it through. And I tell my family this, all the time. It's like, you know, success doesn't always look like, just yachts and private jets and fancy bags and all. That's not always success. Success is the family that's staying together, praying together, and surviving through the ups and downs of life challenges. That's what's making us successful. That's what's making us wealthy. And that's what's growing my brand. And that's also creating financial blessings for me to be able to take care of myself and my family.
Wow, you said a lot there, and I believe that anybody who's joined us on this episode will definitely be able to take something away with them. It's been good. I like the bit where you said that passion will keep you moving. And well, that's where I find myself. And just this afternoon, as I was waiting to pick up the children from school, I just got a call from somebody who had visited. So there's something else that I do. Trust me, I do like three, four, five things at the same time. But my main thing that I do is something else, not podcast with Sheila. Podcast with Sheila is like another side hustle for me that I've been growing, but it's not been consistent for me. But this time around, I'm hoping to get it there. And because my attention is being drawn from podcast to somewhere else. And the lady had called me who had visited my other page and is asking me questions about that business. And I was so tired, trust me. Like I've been going for 7 years with no proper rest. So I always feel drained. And when I go
Mm-hmm.
to bed, I don't even get to sleep well because my brains are still working whilst I'm
Still
sleeping. You know,
going,
that kind
yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
I've not really had enough rest. And I've just been to the office and everybody's pulling me here and there and there and there. And I had a tall list of things I wanted to do today that I wasn't able to touch any of them. So I came out of the office, picking up the children, sitting in the car, feeling like, oh my God, I wasn't able to achieve anything I wanted to achieve today. And then I get a call and the person is asking me one question after the other. So how did you start and what did you do? And initially I wasn't ready to give out any information at all. But when I started talking to her, suddenly I found out telling her a lot of things. And when we finished talking, what she said was, thank you very much for talking to me. You don't know what this information has done for me. And I felt good inwardly, like I felt good. And I didn't know that I had enough to pour out into someone else. But I think years of experience brings you there, and you don't know you've got it till somebody is actually trying to win those information off you, and then you
I
realize, oh
love
yeah,
that. I love that, Sheila. That actually really touched my spirit because how many times are, we're empty and don't really feel like we have the bucket to pour from, within self because we're drained. I too am like you as a entrepreneur, if we think in this day and age one job is going to help us survive, we're all crazy.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody has to have multiple jobs, and some of those jobs have higher precedence over others, right? We've got the main job that's really taking care of the real meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
And then we have all these other ancillary things, hustles, side hustles, volunteering, whatever that we're doing, and then raising family, like you said, and your husband traveling a lot and you having to do so many things alone. It can feel like you don't have a lot to pour from within self. So the biggest thing for you to do is what I'm learning for myself in 2025, and I have to stick to this, is I have to take one day where I just, it doesn't have to be every week and it doesn't have to be consistently every 7 days I need to do that. It could be just let me take one day every 10 days. I just pick it. And this day is a shoot test. And I'm going to do it, spend it however I need to spend it for myself to reboot. If I need to go get my nails done, if I want to get my hair done that day, if I want to do all of the above that day, if I want to sit in bed all day and not have on any clothes and just watch movies, I'm going to do it and no one bother me. There you have to find pockets of joy for yourself, and
Yeah.
this is for everybody, and especially women out here who are watching these podcasts, because all of us, women are have always worked in a different way. And I want to say I was an anthropology major, and I always throw this into my dialogue and discussion because it is really important for women to think about where they are now in today's modern scope and land. So women have always had a position in a from a tribal space, whether that woman has been the medicine woman, whether that woman has been the caretaker, whether she was preparing the meals for the family, the educator. From tribal standpoint, a woman has always had a job that she had to do, you know, and that job didn't always
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
because
Yeah.
the husband also has a job. We're talking about just men and women from the sex of our how we're born genetically, not all of the other things politically that people want.
Yeah.
Husband's out there working, you sustain at home, but then you have five more jobs on top
Yeah.
of that job. And
Yeah.
so, how do we find the balance? We have to give ourselves at least 24 hours in 10 days. We deserve that.
Yeah.
And so I ask you, I implore you for your own health, for your mental health, for your physical health, to to take 24 hours every 10 days for yourself and spend it. Of course, you still have your obligations in the mother job is never off. We know this. The mother job is a 24-hour job. Even when I'm traveling away from home, I may not call my kids every single day, but I'm always texting, checking unless my day gets super, super hectic and busy. They may text me, need something, they need. There's
Yeah.
those things are really, really important. And for our businesses, we can't keep thriving on air. We have to literally get some real oxygen at some point, real oxygen and fuel those lungs up, and not be, taking those
Yeah.
kind of breaths, but those deep, deep inhalation breaths that really are fueling us. And that's where you are able to pull from. That the reason that you were able to help that person asking all those questions, I call it the mother gene. A mother has an ongoing, a really good mom, not every mom, because there's some terrible moms out here, but a good mother has the nurturing gene light that clicks on at any given moment in time. And even when there's nothing left for you, you can click it in and help someone else. So you
Yeah.
went into your reserve of mother zone, even though it was business, but that's the nurturer in mothers. That's what they do. This woman needs help. This person needs help. Let me help them. And that's how you're able to pull from that. And that's a beautiful thing. But you need to also say, okay, Sheila, I need 24 hours for me, even 12 hours of you just, if you need to take a coastal drive, if you need to just take a small trip to see family or friends, just to get away from the kids, everybody, work, and just tune out. You need that time for yourself. It's important.
I think I really do need it because yesterday this the same thing had come up in a conversation in a private class that I have with another lady. And just as we were going on, this conversation came up and she said, Sheila, you need to take a break. Because I think that when people see me, they can see that I'm stressed from what they know me to be and the look they're seeing. So she said, you need to take a break, go to the gym, go swimming, go and have a sauna, that kind of thing. I said, I don't have time. She said, you have to make time. So you saying this is like emphasizing and driving it in down to make me know I really, really need it. It's been a brilliant discussion with you here today. And I know that everybody who had the opportunity to join us on live really did enjoy it. We didn't get your messages coming again or your questions coming again, but however, if you're able to watch the replay or the recorded version, you can still get in touch with the guest and then send your messages through or send it to me. However, I'll get it across some way, somehow. But I believe that before we finally sign out, she's going to be leaving her contacts on air. So stick with us, don't leave yet. We are going to take her final words and then we'll wrap up. So, what advice, if you have any more, because I know you give it a lot, would you give to someone aspiring to break into the beauty industry, especially in such a competitive field?
Yeah, it's a very competitive field, and it's also a changing landscape. The beauty industry that I worked in 30 years ago and now is night and day. It's totally a different industry. And so I would say now, your social media account is super important. When I came to the industry, social media didn't exist. So you had to have a real working portfolio. You had to have a functioning work website. I would say investing in a website is still important because we see what happened with TikTok. You don't want to have all your content housed on one platform and then all of a sudden the government goes, we don't want this anymore. TikTok is not fully not banned also. It's just got an extension. So that extension is the final date. The government will make the decision, I believe, in sometime in March. This gives you time if you're a creator who has built your following all through TikTok to start shifting into all the platforms. As anybody who's selling a CPG product, which is a consumer product good for anybody who doesn't know, you want to be everywhere. A sale omni sales channel is what any brand is looking for. That is what you want to for yourself as a creative. So think of yourself as a product. Your product who offers a service, and you don't want to just be in one place. So make sure you're, putting your brand, your products, or yourself as an artist and your services in many, many places. Make sure you have a website. There are also people are using it to be able to locate services as well. So there are members who are on as well as service providers. And so they basically come together like almost like a yellow pages to help each other. And that's a great platform to, put your services as available out there. You can also look into mentorship from other artists or trying to assist with huge makeup artists or hairstylists in the industry. The industry has changed, so a lot of people don't have the assistance like they used to, but it doesn't mean that they will happen if you don't open your mouth also. look at opportunity and assume it's going to happen for you. You actually have to take the risk to make it
Wow, it's been an interesting time here with us on Podcast with Sheila. I think there's a lot for us to take away, and you can't get it anywhere else except on Podcast with Sheila. So if you've joined in today and you've just been watching, you've not followed us, you've not subscribed, I think that is the right time to be doing that as we keep getting new guests every Tuesday now on our live show. So just follow us so that we keep you in the loop. Thank you very much. Um, Ashunta, is that the name? Did I get it right? Great. Thank you very much, Ashunta, for coming on Podcast with Sheila today. Great. If you've been listening in, this is season 2, episode 112 of our podcast series, where we bring seasoned guests with inspiring real life stories and experiences to share with us. Do not miss out on all these lovely experiences. Subscribe and be notified when a new episode is released. Whilst at it, please drop us a rating. We have an audio presentation of this podcast on our Google Podcast, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, and all other podcast landing sites. Um, Our prayer for you this week is that you become an advocate and a lover of peace. Remember, change begins with you. Until we meet again, have a brilliant week and stay tuned. Bye. Thank you. It was, and I totally enjoyed it. I totally enjoyed it. I think this was down my street, so I really did enjoy it. And when there is time, I'll be happy for us to do this again if we can. So let's, yeah, 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 yeah.
that bad moment. And
Yeah. 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 Mm.
You say, okay, I got 10 minutes for this person.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you very much. I'm going to send you an email and then we take it from there and see what we can
Okay.
do together. Yeah. Thank you so much. I will. I will. You too. Bye. Bye.
Okay, bye.